Welcome to Reading Corner. For today's women's history book, we're going to be learning about a scientist. Her name is Eugenie Clark, and she's called the Shark Lady. So as we're reading, we're going to find out what Eugenie Clark does that shows her bravery and courage. Shark Lady, the true story of how Eugenie Clark became the ocean's most fearless scientist. Here we go. It was Saturday. Eugenie wanted to stay at the aquarium forever. She wanted to smell the damp, salty air and stare at the glittery rainbow of fish. She wanted to keep watching her favorite animals, the sharks. Eugenie pretended she was walking on the bottom of the sea. What would it be like to swim with her sharks? To breathe underwater with gills of her own? More than anything, she wanted to find out. There she is, pretending to breathe through her gills. When the summer came, Eugenie's mother took her to swim at the beach in Atlantic City. Stuffing sticky gum into her ears to keep the water out, Eugenie dove down, down, down. The salt stung her eyes, but she didn't want to miss a single fish. Constellations of sea stars speckled the pebbled sand. She imagined a silvery fin standing strong on her back, slicing through the ocean current. Have you ever gone swimming in a pool or a lake, maybe even in the ocean, and pretended to be a shark swimming? That's what she's doing. She went all the way to the bottom. To others, sharks were ugly and scary, but Eugenie knew they were beautiful. As she glided through the cool water, she wished everyone could see sharks through her eyes. But the sharks were only in her mind for now. Eugenie decided to learn everything she could about them. So she dove, this time into books. Whale sharks, nurse sharks, tiger sharks, lemon sharks. Eugenie wanted to know about them all. She also joined the Queens County Aquarium Society as its youngest member. Eugenie's notebooks filled with sharks. They swam in her daydreams and on the margins of her paper. At home, Eugenie's mother surprised her with an aquarium of her own. A 15-gallon tank was much too small for sharks, but Eugenie saved her allowance to buy guppies, clownfish, and coral red snails. It felt as big as an ocean in her room. Their small apartment became an aquarium, a laboratory, and a sanctuary. And as she grew older, many were still telling Eugenie what to do. Forget those sharks, be a secretary, be a housewife. Eugenie wanted to study zoology, but some of her professors thought women weren't smart enough to be scientists or brave enough to explore the oceans. And they said that sharks were mindless monsters. But Eugenie, she knew better. Her dream was as big as a whale shark. So again, Eugenie dove. This is what happened to a lot of women and sometimes still happens today. So that's why you have to continue to keep going and keep doing what you think is right. And she's not going to give up on her dream of being a scientist. She plunged into every course she could. Her laboratory became her home. From sunrise to sunset, she studied how fish grow and how they behave and how they were put together, both inside and out. She's doing a dissection here. That's what many scientists do to understand animals. Despite all of those people who didn't believe in her, Eugenie was becoming one of the smartest students in her field. Even after that, even after she earned her degree, many still doubted her. But Eugenie's work was just beginning. Eager to make discoveries of her own, Eugenie finally dove into the open ocean. In the Red Sea, Eugenie collected hundreds of fish, including 3 new species that had not been discovered before. And here they are right here. On a research mission exploring the Palau Islands, Eugenie was diving alone when she encountered her first ever wild shark. She wasn't afraid. Instead, she thought it was beautiful. In Isla Mujeres, she dispelled the myth that sharks must keep moving to stay alive when she swam through dark caves, still and silent, full of resting sharks. Eugenie's daring heart grew bolder with each dive. Soon they began to call her Shark Lady. Eugenie had proven she was smart enough to be a scientist and brave enough to explore the oceans. As her courage grew, she began to love and understand her beloved sharks more and more. But she never forgot. Many still believe that sharks were mindless killers. Because of their scary reputations, humans were hunting sharks all over the world. Eugenie knew that sharks weren't stupid or mean. She was determined to prove everyone was wrong. Eugenie fished through her mind and devised a brilliant experiment. Could she train a shark the way a person trains a dog? Were sharks much smarter than anyone knew? They were. Eugenie was the first scientist in the world to train sharks and even learned they could remember their training for at least 2 months. Sharks were not mindless killers. Sharks were beautiful. Sharks were smart. They deserved to be studied, protected, and loved. And Eugenie's dream was now a dream come true. And just like that, just like those sharks, she proved to others that she was smart and fearless and brave. She pioneered using scuba diving as a way to research and to study the sharks underwater. No one had done that before her. And you remember in the story, she even discovers fish that had never been discovered. She never gave up. This got me thinking about how we might like to pretend we're scuba divers. We need our goggles and we need our snorkel that goes in our mouth and it goes up so that we can breathe, or maybe back onto the scuba diver's back. And I thought I would show you how you could make your own scuba diving craft at home. You would need some paint and paintbrush and some paper. And I have a couple of examples here. So this is my daughter, and we cut out her picture and we glued it on after we painted and let it dry to look like the ocean. Isn't that pretty? And then we cut out some goggles and the snorkel to go up. And she looks just like Eugenie Clark, doesn't she? And here's another example where we painted with blues and greens like the beautiful ocean. And then we cut out a picture of my daughter, her name's Genevieve, and then the snorkel going up, and then the goggles, just like Eugenie Clark. That's really great. Eugenie Clark is a scientist and a woman who deserves celebration, and that's why we learned about her today for Women's History Month. I hope that whether you're a boy or a girl, you know that you can be anything that you want. A scientist who studies, you can build things, do anything that your heart tells you you want to do. Thanks for reading with me, and I'll see you next time.